Go ahead.
All right, so I'm sorry to begin kind of the day or the class with a little bit of a depressing topic, but I wanted to talk about the repercussions of the Vegas shooting. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about injuries to begin with and stuff like that. So before the Vegas shooting, in the last 16 years, there was 52 mass shootings, like shootings that were labeled as mass shootings. And that's basically anything, I think it's above 3 or more deaths, I think they use that as. During the Vegas shooting, there was 500 people injured, 59 dead. And in the 5 days leading up, well, after the Vegas shooting, there was 5,000 liters of blood donated within 5 days, just to one blood bank, you know? And it turns out actually that the blood banks had to throw about 2/3 away of their blood, some of them, because they couldn't keep up with the demand. So that's interesting. Some of the various injuries range from lost eyesight to brain damage, paraplegic, basically loss of legs, losing any use of limbs, either physically or they can't literally use them, that they're still there, or they can't use them, or they're gone completely. People learning basically how to walk again was a big common thing, and another one was internal bleeding, obviously, with all the bullets and gunshots. After all these deaths and injuries, there was a lot of what's called GoFundMe campaigns. If you don't know what this is, basically people can create an account on a GoFundMe website, and basically this allows other people to donate money to help with medical costs, you know, stuff like that. And so there are already over 40 campaigns created, and if you include the money that the police donated to the Vegas city and a bunch of different celebrities, it ranged from about $20 million was donated towards these 40 different campaigns. Some people are still, you know, looking to earn their goals. Some people only have around $2,000 that were saved. Some people have like 600,000. And this ranges from the injured as well as families of the deceased. So some of the celebrity donators include Mike Tyson, the Chainsmokers music group, as well as Ellen DeGeneres, CEO billionaire Mark Benioff, Jennifer Lopez, Kid Rock. These are just a few of the examples of some of the celebrities that donated. So let's get into the medical stuff. Medical bills in the US are basically 62% of what causes bankruptcies in the US, which is insanity. Anytime a gunshot victim is shot, just showing up to the emergency room, not staying overnight, it ranges between $5,000 and $8,000 per gunshot wound. If you stay overnight, that goes up to about $100,000 per night. Usually, that's the average. So a lot of the costs for the injured Vegas shooters and injured people, they range from, so these costs, they're not just like physical injuries and medical stuff. So it goes from medical care, mental health, loss of earnings, emergency transport, first responders, employee costs, and quality of life. It's kind of the main things that they basically are using their money for. And between the injured and the deceased, it ranged from about $600 million in financial damage just from the Vegas shooting alone. Now think about how much was saved in the GoFundMe page. It was only about 20 million. That seemed like a lot. But 600 million for all of this, that's not even a fraction of it. So the average cost, you could say, per death of the Vegas shooting was about $7.6 million per death. So what has changed since then? Or I guess what hasn't as well. I'm going to talk about that. So the Nevada Nevada took a gun poll in July of 2017, and they also took a gun poll right after the Vegas shooting. The results were the exact same, which is kind of scary. Basically, the poll ranged from like gun control, gun laws, what needs to change, what doesn't, just opinion polls. That's kind of what the poll took. So other things that have changed. New tech in hotels is being basically revisited for future privacy and future security, which is good, as well as the tourism sector, specifically in Las Vegas. That's also being looked at and going to be changed in the future for what they can do to prevent stuff like this. So before I kind of finish off, I wanted to talk quickly just about a story of a girl named Rachel Shepard. She was shot 3 times in the chest and her aorta was punctured, and usually someone dies within 5 minutes of that happening. Rachel Shepard survived, and she was walking 5 days after surgery. This is just one of the incidences of all the victims and injured of a story that I kind of wanted to tell. She's basically an inspiration of someone being able to push through and survive. So I hope you guys can take a chance to look at some of these stories and just kind of learn more about it. Thanks.